Hey guys, welcome to Front End Hero, and tonight we're going to be creating an expandable search box with JQuery. So to show you what we're going to be working with, here is our demo webpage. Got our logo, and just imagine this header area is filled to the brim with navigation items. So we've got our home, about, contact us, blah, blah, blah. And we don't have room, unfortunately, for a search box. So this is a great idea behind the expandable search box. What you can do, if you don't have much space, you can just add, say, a button. And when the user interacts with that, maybe through hover or a click event, the search box expands. And all is well, the user can search the website and you get to show all the items you need. So it's a great solution if you don't have too much space on your web page. So popping into Dreamweaver, we've got three files. We've got a markup, our CSS, and our JavaScript. And this code, as you'll notice, is already populated with some bits and pieces. What we've got here is I'm not a pirate, what are you doing? What we've got here is our Font Awesome CSS style sheet. This is actually the method we're going to be using to create the search icon. We could use an image, but Font Awesome is so awesome, I just, why not use it? Then we've got our global.css, and this is interesting because global.css is being linked to from the main website. It's more just for my own kind of sanity. Instead of keeping things updated all the time, I'm linking to the main style sheet on frontendhero.tips. So when I make changes there, it's updated in all these demos and stuff like that. So what the global.css style sheet has is margins and paddings being removed to 0, some like resets, for example, some typography, wrappers, this type of thing. So instead of having everything in the style.css sheet in the style sheet, it's being linked to from the main website. And then we've got our style.css. In the footer, we've got our jQuery, we've got our easings.js. This is actually optional. You don't need easings.js. You can actually do this example without using this library, but easings is just it's a touch more detail to the finished product, and kind of what it says on the tin. It gives great easing to the animation. I mean, we'll see that in a little bit. And then this, I guess, is where the magic happens. The script.js. Okay, so we're going to begin by creating a markup in the header. So we're going to call our search area. Any guesses? Hey, search area. Cool. We're going to create a very basic form that doesn't even include an action. We're going to create an input field, and what we could do here is create another input field, as a submit, sorry. But we want to add an icon, so we're going to be using the button tag and add the very awesome font library in here. What am I doing? Class FA font awesome. I think it's a search for font awesome. I think it's fairly obvious, fairly intuitive. So that's it there. So we got our search fields and we've got our button. And if we refresh, yeah, cool. It worked. We've got our markup here. So very basic at the moment, but it works. It's functional. So what we want to do is move this area here to the right hand side and make it a bit more pretty. So we're going to pop into our style.css. And we're going to start with the input field. Inputs. Okay, we're going to give it a border of 1 pixel and make it gray, my go-to gray, CCC. Give it a padding of 10 pixels. A font size of 18 pixels. Make it a bit more pretty. We're going to add a border radius of 4 pixels, maybe, nothing too crazy. Give it a height of 40 pixels. Now we're going to change the width a bit to 35 pixels. So yeah, it's quite small, but it's expanding. So if we refresh, this is going to be hidden behind the button. Let me pop back in here. Now we need to put it to the right hand side. We're going to give the input a position of absolute, and we're going to give it a we're going to make it right position to the right hand side. Okay, so if we refresh this now, it should be over here, which is great. Now, just to let you know, for those for newbies that are out watching, it's positioned in relation to the wrapper, because the wrapper has a position of relative. If I remove the relative part, it's gonna go to the next best thing, which is, well, the body, because the header is not positioned relatively, nor does it actually matter because it's full width. So on the wrapper, it's positioned relative, and when I enable that again, so that's where it bubbles up to. The search area is linking in relation to the wrapper. Okay, moving on to the button, and we'll just copy and paste this because we are lazy. Same thing, we're going to position it absolutely, give it a right hand side attribute of 0. We're going to give it a width and a height of 40 pixels, not 40 XP, whatever that is. And let's see what that looks like now. Yeah, cool. Obviously it's, you know, ugly. So we need to give it a radius of 4 pixels. And now we need to remove the border, the default browser border. So remove that. Maybe give it a background of, yeah, our favorite color gray. So, CCC, give it a color, because it's a font, of white. Let's see how that looks. Pretty cool, but the font is a little bit too small. So what we're going to do is give it a size of maybe 22 pixels. And just as a nice little usability thing, I like to give the cursor a value of pointer, so the little hand pops up. So if I just, you know, if I hover over this, it doesn't really look like I can do a whole lot. But if I refresh, it should have a hand, which is, you know, hey, like you can use it. It kind of like lets the user know, hey, click me. And that's the CSS for the most part. And now we jump into the magic. Okay, so we are going to be targeting the button, which is, oh, I really cannot spell, search area and button. And we're going to attach a click handler. I really cannot spell. And let's give that function. Okay, so when the button is clicked, we can do all our magic in here, basically. So the first thing we're going to do is check if, a few different ways of doing this. I think I'm going to use classes. So basically, you know, use a class such as active and find out if active is enabled or not and this type of thing. So use a conditional if this, which is this this button, has a class of active. Do some stuff. Oh, little error there. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, okay. So if it has a class of active, do something else. Do something else. So if it has a class of active, we're going to, yeah, so it doesn't have a class of active yet. So what we're going to do is actually animate, start the animation. Search area. So we're going to target the input field. Ooh. And we are going to use the animate function. I always get this wrong, hopefully not this time. The syntax, is that right? Yeah, okay, cool. So if the button has a class of active, do something. If not, do something else. So it does not have a class of active, so we're going to animate. And we're going to basically create the width. So it's 35 pixels at the moment. We're going to expand that to whatever, say 250 pixels. Make it nice and long. So width, say 250. Yeah. Okay. And now we are going to give it a duration of 350. So the duration is 1,000 is equal to 1 second. So 350 is like really small, like less than half a second. So it's going to animate quite quickly. Our next property is the easing, and this is the reason we wanted to use the easing library. Is that we could easily just go, we could easily exclude this and it would just animate, you know, left, right, linear, just normal. But here we're going to add, how do you say, an easing from the library called ease out. I think it's expo, ease out. I think that's it, ease out expo. And it just has a nice gradual ease to it. It's quite cool. And that's it for the moment. Okay, now let's just see what happens here. The moment of truth. Hey, cool. So you'll see two things that happen. So one is the input field actually expanded, which is great. And the second is it kind of, you know, went away just as quick, because if you look at the page, it's being reloaded. So what we want to do is stop that. And what we want to do is run the, perform the animation first, and then make it so the button returns false, basically making the form not submit. So the animation will show and the page will not reload. So if we refresh this, hey, pretty cool. So we're gonna get a bit stickly here and just show you real quick. So the button here, when we click, I think that looks a little bit messy. So what we're going to do is pop back into our CSS file and yeah, .active. So what we're going to do here, oh Dreamweaver, I love you, but you are so bloody buggy. Does this only happen to me? Like, seriously, I need to go away. Okay. So yeah, when it's active, which we'll go back into JQuery and fix that, we're going to change the border radius. So if we change that to top 4 pixels, 0 pixels. I think that's right. I always have to double check these, even after the amount of years I've bloody been in this game. Top right down Yeah, I think that's right. Okay, cool. So what we're going to do is add a class here. So jQuery.this. So this button, give it a class of active. Okay, let's see what we've got to know. Refresh cache. Okay, and we click. Yeah, even there you can see, well, you should be able to see the difference. So here, the border radius looks nice, so it's clean. It's a straight line, and to the right hand side of the button, it's still curved, which looks a hell of a lot better, I think. I'm just thinking, just looking here now, return false. That should have not reloaded the page. Why did that not work? Oh, because I'm an idiot. Basically, once we added the active class to the button, yeah, it has a class of active. So the first time the page refreshed, well, the form submitted, should I say, because this had not got a class of active. And once I clicked this the first time, the class has been given. So when I click again, it will run this section here, this conditional. So for the most part, this is looking okay. So what we want to do here is pop back up. And we want to remove this. We want to remove the animation. So if I'm just going to copy and paste this really quickly. Yeah, so instead of 250, we're going to do 35 pixels. So we're basically going to minimize it again. Return false again. Oh, don't need to cut it. Okay, let's see what happens now. Click, expand, active is been given on the button. Click again, but if I click, nothing will happen because the active class has still been set. So what we need to do is remove that. Let's do it right here. And we're just going to copy and paste because I am lazy. Okay, remove active. Remove the active class. Great. So if we refresh and we click, active class is here. Click again, active class is gone. But I don't like this really. It's a little bit messy because you'll see here when I click this straight away, the border radius happens instantaneously, which it should. But it's a little bit messy, I think. So what I kind of like to do is on the callback of the animate function is add a new function, an anonymous function, to add this code in here. So that means this code will only execute when this bit of code has run. So once the animation is complete, then the class will be removed. Refresh and we click, that looks fine. And then when we click to minimize to hide, no, why don't you work? Oh, okay, because I'm in an anonymous function. So what I need to do is target the search area button and do it that way. Okay. And actually I'm just going to hard refresh here because it's probably Chrome's cache kills me sometimes. So just make sure, okay, click, active, click again. Yes, that looks better. So once we expand and we minimize, you can see the corners are still, the border radius this side, the left-hand side is still not applied until the animation is complete, and then boom, it's full border radius of 4 pixels. Great. So, oh, Dreamweaver, why? This is what I need to do to actually remove this crap. Okay. So, yeah, getting back on track. Sorry about that. So now here's the last piece of the puzzle, really. So let's say, yeah, great. I can expand, I can see the search box, I want to click, blah, blah, blah. Excuse me. And if I click, yeah, it doesn't really work, does it? Because, well, there's no logic to, and the form is being built just to hide and show. So what we need to do is think of a way. So there's 2 conditionals, we need to add another conditional. And before that, what we're going to do is instead of having our return false in these 2 areas here, we're going to create a variable for this, and we're going to add this up here at the top. So we're going to create our boolean, return bool equals false. So what we're going to do then is change the boolean to false here, and the same here. Now we just need to echo out the variable here, return bool. So now once this code executes, we've got a variable. The variable is defaulted to false. Here it's being changed. Well, it's being changed. It's being false again, and here we're basically going to return the variable globally instead of basically doing here and here. So anyway, getting back, sorry about that. We need to find out a way how to find out if any text has been given into the search box. So that's probably the best option. I think if the search box has text, change the action. So starting at the top, if JQuery, if this button has a class of active, or, well, no, sorry, not or, and if the search box, search area, if the input, if the value of the input, I think that's right, in the length of the string in the search box, if it has any value, is equal to 0, always. Okay, well, it wasn't too bad. Only a small little error. Okay, so yeah, so if this button is active, meaning it's opened, and the search form is, the field is empty, return, oh sorry, what am I talking about? The value, no, that makes, is not equal to 0. So basically if it's opened and there's text in the search box, return the variable, return the return bool to true, because we want to actually execute the form. So let's just see real quick what we've got. Opened. Now to search, so this form should return true, and it does not. Of course you don't. Okay, there's text in my search input field. Okay, we've got an error somewhere. If this class has active and search form inputs.val, the length is not equal to 0. Return bool is equal to true. Yes. Yes. So why aren't you working? So active. What am I missing? Yeah, that looks right. Return bool equals true. Return bool. Okay. Let's just add a console message to see what we've got here. So, yeah, yes. So check our console and see, does this actually work? Okay, add some text. Ah, okay, cool. So it is technically working, but the return bool is equal to true. Yeah, that's been changed. Return bool is equal to false. Return bool. We'll come back to that anyway. Okay, so here's section 1 anyway, which is not working, but it should work. So anyway, if a search form has a class of active which is opened, and the search input field has text inside, return the form to true. You go away. Else, if the search form, else if, yeah. So else if the button is has a class of active, yeah. So basically, if the search form has no text inside, we want to minimize, and that's where we do. That's where we go here. So condition 1, condition 2, and then we copy and paste this stuff here and remove this guy. Yeah. Else add active and open. All right, let's see what we've got. Empty cache. Click open, no text, click to close. Okay, now there's text inside and the form executes. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. So let me just double check that test. Yeah, great. But if there's no text, it just expands and minimizes. So there you have it, an expandable search box in jQuery. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, please comment and subscribe. And I should be coming out with more videos over the next few weeks, hopefully time permitting. Thank you so much and have a good evening or day. Cheers. Bye-bye.